AMN DriveTime is sponsored by Aishin, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit AishinAftermarket.com for more information.
Guys, welcome to AMN DriveTime, sponsored by our great friends at Aishin. Glad to have you here. For the benefit of our audience, we are in Greater Detroit at the Vision Conference put on by MEMA, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to be with us today. So I'm just going to ask a question. You guys can determine who answers it, and maybe both will answer the same question.
Okay.
So provide some highlights of the Nexus Business Forum that took place just a few weeks ago at the Swiss Tech Convention Center at Lausanne, Switzerland.
Well, I'll give you the North American perspective, and then Terry can give you the international version. So,
okay.
So the the Nexus Business Forum is the annual meeting for Nexus International. So the members come from all across the world. And this year was very special for us because we had a pretty large North American presence there. Pronto Network was able to take our board of directors over there. We had a board meeting, a Pronto Network board meeting on Monday and Tuesday morning leading into the business forum. And then all of our guys were able to fully participate in the business forum. Great opportunity for my members to learn more about Nexus, the value that Nexus brings to Pronto Network. And it was just one of the best board meetings we've ever had.
I think just to complement what you said, I mean, once a year we try to organize what we call this annual business conference and business forum. So 750 leaders coming from all the world, from the 5 continents. Approximately 3,000 meetings has been done during those 3 days. The purpose of a business forum is for leaders to meet leaders. And for leaders from North America, inspired by what Pronto has been pushing toward this board and his key representatives, to meet the leaders also coming from other environments. That means leaders from manufacturers coming from Europe, manufacturers coming from other places of the world, but also wholesalers with other way of working, other way of attacking and being under other type of constraint in the world, which are helping also the North American leaders to get better prepared, to better source, to better network, and to better enjoy indeed some of the service that we are trying to align between Europe and North America and to combine a more aggregated value. Also, maybe one additional word is that this business forum for us was extremely important, not only because all the leaders were there, by few exceptions, in a context which is complicated with Middle East situation, of course, which has massive impact on our industry progressively from a cost perspective, from a supply chain perspective. I think what was very important is also the fact that the traditional wholesalers, our industry, our people need to work more and more together. And I think we call this, the appeal of Lausanne was more collaborative work together. We have to be stronger together. I'm not talking about the consolidation which is going on, whether it's from an operational perspective, whether from a financial perspective, but we need to work better together because we need to prepare thousands, millions of workshops, repairers, installers, to be capable to maintain new cars, new technology. We have a certain number of elements that was shared. It was really a call to work better in a more aggregated way all together to be better prepared on this traditional aftermarket industry.
So you're talking about the Lausanne appeal there, right?
Yes.
And Robert, do you care to comment on the Lausanne appeal?
I mean, definitely, it was a very unique city. Many of the guys that traveled with me had never been to Switzerland. Yeah. I've been to Switzerland. Their headquarters is in Geneva, but I'd never been to Lausanne. Beautiful city on the lake. Small place, but the setup was great for the forum. It was, again, as you said, well attended. I wish I could remember the exact number. It was amazing to me that there was like 80 or 90 countries in the world represented at that meeting, and it's just amazing that the world came together in that small city of Lausanne for that 2 or 3 day business forum.
So that Lausanne appeal was a central theme of the meeting?
It really was. I mean, I think, you think of Switzerland as a peaceful place, as a place where people can come together and work out their differences or whatever, and so definitely they played up on that, and I think it played well into the week.
So, as I understand it, more than 3,000 speed dating meetings took place during the event.
Yes.
3,000 meetings. What was their scope? and purpose.
I think if we want to summarize that, the scope when we do those meetings is to act in business together. So purpose of Nexus is to grow the business of wholesalers and manufacturers together. So we stimulate that. We stimulate that through our partners, through the people and the team that is existing. So it's first of all preliminary business oriented. Make business together, focus, more compliance, more opportunities together. The second thing is that, as you rightly said, 90 countries, suppliers coming from different horizons, more North American suppliers coming with Nexus, working with Nexus, trying to expand outside of North America sometimes. A lot of European manufacturers, some Chinese manufacturers trying to also benefit from this global connection. I think we need to be much more open-minded on the fact that the current change in our ecosystem is making it more global, and you need to have a much more capacity to impact directly each group to be better prepared and impact directly with a network that they will leverage seriously from their business on a day-to-day basis. And I think those speed dating are sometimes opportunity for closing business, closing deal, or sometimes to better networks. That means network with leaders, CEO of Schaeffler, CEO of ZF, CEO of Bosch, blah, 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 and having capacity to have the right top-to-top decision makers together to prepare the future, which is a challenging future, as we call it, Lausanne Appeal, based on the ecosystem in which one we are working on, and why we also want to aggregate more those leaders together to go in one direction, and one qualitative direction, but one direction to prepare the future of our installers.
I would call it global AWDA.
Oh, that's good context for our audience,
for
right?
North America, it's the very similar meetings to what you would have at an AWDA meeting, but on a grander scale because it's global.
Right. I think that's good for our audience. So Nexus Climate Day returned for its 4th edition with a focus on reman and sustainability. What were the key takeaways?
I think Nexus has been pioneering the fact that sustainability is more than a word. It's something that's becoming something which is quite key and quite also an opportunity in our ecosystem. This 4th session was a momentum where 300 people has been acting and working together in trying to define what can be the next step and how we can design a stronger, sustainable and circular economy in our current ecosystem. What you need to consider is the fact that the reman business, which is per nature a sustainable business on our industry, the reman business in Europe is far less developed as compared to the reman business in North America. It's even not a way to compare. So we want to act much more on those reman products. We want to develop much more this trend on the reman initiative in Europe. We need to follow up what has been done in the United States for decades, if I can say, also from a pricing and competitivity perspective. Last thing is that the Climate Day is a momentum where we're running a certain number of proof of concept with a certain number of manufacturers, testing new model, testing new supply chain flow, testing new potential product or services which answers the sustainability challenge that we are fronting. So it's a way to have also this capacity to encourage and move forward on a global perspective on those sustainable area. But I want to really insist on the fact that there is a very significant ecosystem between Europe, rest of the world, in a positive way, and United States, where here definitely Europe needs to be much more inspired by what has been done decades ago in the United States to promote the reman industry, facilitate that, and move in that direction, which is what is expected for the future of our generations.
It's really interesting to me that as an American, you go to Europe and they talk about sustainability so much, you think, oh my gosh, these guys are so far ahead of the curve. And then you listen to somebody talk about us and they're like, oh, you guys are so much farther along than us with all the reman facilities and everything we do. So we definitely have a lot to learn from each other, and it's really nice to see, you know, an organization like Nexus put such a focus on sustainability.
Well, you know, reman was a thing 40 years ago. We were way ahead of our time, right?
Right. We were trying to get rid of it. We were trying to move back to new.
Right.
Now we look at it, look what great things we've
now
been
we're
doing.
green.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think if I can just add one thing, I think we also need to think about what's the next step of reman. Typically during this session, one of the key points was how to reman, to repair electric batteries. Today's electric cars are taking more and more and more part of market shares in a certain number of continents. Mexico is the closest country to United States where you see the car park growing significantly. It's not only a question of number of parts which you can continue to maintain in an electrical car. What will we do with the batteries? Today, there is only 2 companies in the world which are getting prepared and investing massively to try to see if we can repair the electric batteries. And what does it mean? Is it a future that we need to take on board? So when we talk about globalization and being stronger together, this is not something that one wholesalers or one company can start to make a couple of million or hundreds of millions of investment. It's much more. How we work together on that, can it be a sustainable way for the installers to have new business opportunity, and who will be capable to take that on board? Will we let that on the end? Are we ready to let that on the end of the car manufacturers? Are we ready to try to see if this is a true new stream of opportunity for our business? We believe in that. And that's typically what Climate Day is about. What we do on batteries. What we do to repair the battery, an electric battery tomorrow. Is it sustainable to act in the way that we're acting today? Very probably not. But we cannot do it individually. So that's also why we have strong relations, strong connection. This is why you see more and more and more wholesalers getting together. It's not only because they want to benefit from better price because you are stronger in volume. No, it's because you need to get prepared. And this getting prepared means a lot of investment. And those investments can only work when we are all together acting in the same way for our industry.
So Nexus had a number of distributors and groups come from North America, right? Who were some of those distributors? And what were the benefits for those distributors that came to the event?
Definitely, NEXUS North America is represented by the Pronto Network, APSG, Vipar, and APA. All of those folks were represented over there, as well as, again, I said that with my board, we had members from Parts Authority and Pro Stock and Automotive Parts Wholesalers, Concho Auto Supply. We had 8. Had 9 scheduled. One guy had to cancel at the very end, but we had 8 WDs as part of the Pronto Network and a number of additional guests. So it was a great turnout for North America. I was very proud, certainly the largest representation we've ever had at a business forum. And I think it was a great opportunity for our people to learn more about Nexus. Nexus, it's interesting to me. Nexus is the one international group that has really made an investment in North America, right? Terry came over almost a year and a half ago, and he's been, feet on the street here in the U.S., working very, very closely with all of the North American partners to improve, programs. And really that's the only group that's done that. And I joke with him, and I told him when he was coming over, I said, the only way I'm going to let you come over is you have to be in my office. I can't let you go somewhere where I can't see you and watch what you're doing. But it's been a great partnership for us to be able to work together, and this industry is becoming closer and closer together. It is going to be a global industry. And it's a great advantage from my perspective to be able to work with distributors from all over the world, from Europe and from Asia and from the Middle East and Africa, India. You learn so much when you network with those guys. Even though you may have different ways of doing business or whatever, it just brings a new perspective to the entire automotive industry.
Yeah, and I think just to echo what you said perfectly well, I think today, most of our business, when we talk about traditional wholesalers business, we are talking to family business. First generation, second generation, third generation, no matter what. But at the end of the day, they need to be better prepared. And the beauty of our industry is that it's an industry of people with agility, flexibility, and a capacity to rebound very fast. North American market has been seriously impacted last year with the tariff, and we've seen the challenge for the manufacturers, for the distributors to take care about that, to find other way, getting prepared differently, also on the private label segment. It's much easier when you are connected to a group that suddenly can open the doors everywhere in the world on different or the best market practice. You have a problem with China, let's work with India. With India, let's work with Malaysia, blah, 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 blah. You want to see if you can potentially benefit from the Middle East, US car park in Middle East. Okay, let's see how we can design the flow for you to grow your business there, or the other way around. And I think it is this global connection that is being indeed successfully driven under the leadership of Robert in North America, and Pronto Network has been using that in the best way for their members, for them to be better exposed, better prepared, for them to have the best connection at CEO level in Germany for a part of this industry, which is also coming from Europe, from a manufacturing perspective. And I think this is which gives a key for the future success of some of those groups who really want to have a long-term picture and a long-term vision. They're exposed to electrics, they're exposed to innovation, they're exposed to centralization and mutualization of procurement, they're exposed to branding, marketing strategy together. And this is also what we've been learning a lot, is that group in North America of wholesalers are working differently than group at international level as from a European, let's say, background perspective. And we see how much you are in advance in a certain number of elements, like data, for example, like private label, like marketing and a way to promote and a way to negotiate terms and conditions in a win-win relation with manufacturers. We came with other things. We came with other advantage, other service, maybe sometimes more in-depth service proposed to the wholesalers. And this is what we are trying to marry more and more and more together to offer the best service to those traditional wholesalers, or sometimes to, you don't like that, but sometimes to retailers also. But that's also the way it works. And it brings back to also some new type of opportunities that at the end of the day, the Chinese wall is a little bit broken sometimes because we find new business opportunities altogether, still again to protect our ecosystem.
A question, I think it might, it's just a comment just to you, Robert. I think you have a new member, don't you, recently? It's just a little one. It's probably didn't even really get on the radar, did it?
Yeah. No, we're very pleased, and you know, to welcome Worldpac into the group. I will tell you, it's one that we've been working with for a long time. It was about a year in the making, and actually Nexus was very valuable in assisting. Obviously, they have a lot of knowledge of some of the suppliers that they do business with that are not even on the radar for the Pronto Network and APSG today. But yeah, we're very excited about that. Actually, I'm going to leave here tomorrow afternoon after the conference is over and go to Chicago and meet with the Worldpac team and start the onboarding process. But we're excited about the fact that, you know, when they split apart from Advance, I think that there were some holes, some opportunities that I think we'll be able to fill very well, and I think they're going to be a great addition to the APSG family.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So it is tradition, what you would know, Robert, I don't know if Thierry, if you know, that we do something called lightning round on DriveTime. And I'm just going to ask you a question, you give me a quick answer. All right, I'm going to start with Robert so we can model it for Thierry, okay? Do you have a destination that is still on your bucket list, a place to visit?
I've got lots of places to visit on my destination list. Nexus has opened up the entire world to us, and for some reason my wife has found it to be very intriguing to go to all these foreign countries. So
I bet she has.
I have a long bucket list of travel ahead of me for sure.
I'm going to bounce back and forth. You ready? It's only your first time, okay?
Go ahead.
What personal value most influences how you lead?
Entrepreneurship.
I didn't feed you that question ahead of time. Just
you told me to be quick in one word.
Great, beautiful. Just let the record show.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert. Favorite food in Texas?
It's got to be barbecue.
Got to be, right?
Got to be barbecue.
Probably good Mexican food too.
There is, you know, I will say this, and people get mad at me. The Mexican food is much better in Houston than it is in Dallas.
Oh wow! These are fighting words.
Great steak everywhere, but good old Texas barbecue's got to be on the list.
Okay. Last question for you, Thierry. Favorite place to vacation in Europe?
Interesting question. Florence in Italy.
Beautiful place.
That would be high on the list.
It's a very nice place, yes. I was, by the way, expecting you to say on the first question that you want to visit soon Napa Valley.
I took him to Napa Valley last year. We did a Nexus North America board meeting there, and he's like, I don't understand why you're going to go to Napa Valley for this meeting. Why are you going so far? I think he found a couple of wines.
Oh,
The French man found a couple of wines in Napa Valley that he enjoyed.
We invite
And so
Babcock for coming with us
there you
this
go.
year.
So now we're doing a Nexus Leadership Days in Napa Valley in June, last week of
nice.
June, where we're flying in members from all across the world to come over to Napa Valley and meet with a number of key suppliers.
Well, those Napa wines really compete well internationally against the French and Italian wines, right?
It helped to get closer.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us on AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our great friends at Aishin.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Absolutely.